Tacking. What is tacking? Well, we have a game plan. Here's the wind. This is the wind, and this is us, right? Okay? The boat. We're the boat. That's the wind. The wind doesn't need us, but we need the wind. And our team, this is our team right here. Okay? We got the head sail and the main. That's our team. Oh, wait. Here's our target. This is our target. Oh, man. This is the end zone. We need to score. Okay? It's right at the end of the game. We're losing. Here we go. We're sailing along. We're sailing along. This is not our target. We're not going there. Here's the wind. It's in our way. That's the defense. The defense is the wind. How are we going to get to our target? Well, our sails are filled here. Okay, well, according to your book, a tack is when the bow goes through the wind. Not into the wind, through the wind. We got to go through the wind to get to the other side through the wind. We turn the boat. We turn the boat. We turn the boat. The sails are filled. There we go. Oh, look at that. Here's our target. Here's the end zone. This is what we want. We can sail right into there. Beautiful. Yes, that's a touchdown. That's a tack. Wait a minute. It's the second half. It's the second half. We've changed sides of the field. That's our new target. The new target. There's the wind. Ah, that nasty wind. The defense. We got to turn. Bows going through the wind, just like the book says. Bow through the wind, not into the wind. Through the wind. We turn. We turn. Our sails have flipped over to the other side. Look at that. Beautiful. Ah, the end zone. The target. There we go. For the game. Winning drive. There we go. We've tacked. Yes. Ah, tacking.
Hi, and welcome to San Francisco. I'm Captain David with Spinnaker Sailing here at Pier 40. While that clip of me channeling John Madden does explain what a tack is, we are going to break down the elements of a tack as well as each person's role in executing a good tack. But let's clear up something first. In nautical terms, there are three definitions of the word tack. If you remember from our Parts of the Boat video, a tack is a semi-permanent attachment point on our sails. Being on a tack is defining whether the wind is coming over the port side of the boat or the starboard side of the boat. This is going to be important when you learn rules of the road.
Tacking.
Performing a tack is turning the boat so the bow goes through the wind and the sails change to the other side. This also changes the tack you're on. Great, so here's our boat in open water. There's nothing around us. We're just sailing along. But if I start moving the boat around, changing my direction, if I start going like this, I am heading up or moving closer to the wind. If I'm sailing along and I start turning the boat and I turn it in this direction, I am falling off or bearing away. So let's build on heading up and falling off or bearing away. Let's say we start at close halt, the closest point to the wind. Now, if I fall off or bear away from the wind, I can go through all of my points of sail all the way to running. And if you're a numbers freak, person, we have just fallen off 135 degrees without flipping our sails to the other side of the boat. Conversely, if we start at running, I can move the boat closer to the wind. The bow is heading up closer to the wind through all of our points of sail. Now, I may be trimming as I head up, but I do not have to move the sails to the other side of the boat. Close halt. Heading up does not mean you have to go to close halt. It just means we want you to steer closer to the wind. Same with falling off. We don't need you to go right down to running. We just want you to bear away from the wind. You may need to do this to change your course or even just correct your course. You really need to understand these terms and concepts. It's going to become very important when you are communicating with your crew and your instructor. Now let's introduce some bonus knowledge. We're out sailing. Now, as we start moving this boat around, not only are we changing our point of sail, but we are changing our course and our heading. When we hold a straight or straightish line, that is our course. When you hold this course, you can tell your crew to trim to course. A heading refers to what your course is on the compass. This is something you definitely use offshore when you don't have any landmarks. As you can see, we can sail in many directions without actually having to switch the sails over to the other side. It's when we change direction so much that the sails have to switch over. Then we're making maneuver, and that maneuver is a tack. So let's draw out some scenarios where we may or may not need to tack. Here's our wind right up here, coming across here. And this, obviously, is a seawall. Here's our boat, and we're sailing along. Now, what can we do? Do we actually need to tack? Well, if we fall off or bear away, our sails are still filled. So no, we don't need to tack. However, if that seawall is continuing out like that, and we are on the same course as before, falling off or bearing away is just going to drive us into that section of the seawall. So this would definitely be a scenario where we need to tack. Here we are close hauled, prepare to tack, tacking, and now we are going away from the seawall. Let's take a look at another tack.
Tacking.
Finish your turn. Fill the sails.
A question I often hear is, when have I turned enough? Well, that depends on where you plan on going. So let's start with the minimum amount of turn to keep the boat sailing. So think about it. If I'm sailing close hauled, the closest point to the wind, and I tack, I bring that bow through the wind and get to our new point of sail of close hauled, then we have reached the minimum amount of turning that we need to keep the boat sailing. All you have to do is straighten out the tiller and sail on. Let's take a look at a close hauled to close hauled tack. As the boat goes through the wind, focus on the mainsail. Think about it. We need to fill the main. Once filled, we are moving again. We can also use a land-based target to set up our tack. Think about this. If our no-go zone is 45 degrees on each side, and we are sailing close hauled, 45 is 90 degrees off of our stern. So if I find that target and I line it up with my stern, and now I tack, there's 90 degrees, there is my target. That's how we use a land-based target. Our point of sail is close hauled on a starboard tack. Here is our target, 90 degrees off the stern. Now, even though you have a target, you still need to watch the main and make sure it fills. If it doesn't, you'll need to keep turning until it does. Here, we are just about right on our target. So what if your target is more than 90 degrees off of your stern? So as we sail and we tack and we bring that boat around, if this is our target, just keep falling off, find your course, straighten your tiller, and trim your sails for your new course. Now that you understand what a tack is and how to use it, let's go over the techniques of tacking and the roles of each person on the boat. Let's say we have 3 crew members: a tiller person, a main sheet person, and a jib sheet person. As a tiller person, when you want to tack, give the command, prepare to tack. But now, Watch your crew.
Okay, prepare to tack.
Is your main sheet person paying attention? If not, wake them up. Has your jib sheet person moved into a stable position? Do they have a sheet in each hand? Now you're waiting for their response of ready. If you don't get it, ask them if they're ready.
Prepare to tack. Ready.
Now you can settle in. Prepare yourself for tacking and make sure you have a clear path for the transition of your body across to the new windward side of the boat. Once you and your crew are ready, announce tacking and go.
Tacking.
Notice in this shot that the tiller person has pushed the tiller over, creating the turn, and doesn't bring it back to center until the turn is just about complete. Nicely done by the crew. As the main sheet person, you may be trimming the main end as the boat heads up to the wind. But your primary responsibility is to prepare to make your transition to the new windward side of the boat, and be ready to ease the main if there is a gust once the boat completes its tack. As a jib sheet person, your job tends to be a bit more complicated. Your timing for transferring the jib across depends on how well your skipper steers the boat. But we'll get back to that. Let's begin with the setup and what you do after your skipper says, prepare to tack. On the Andrews 21, I like to stand in the middle of the boat with one foot firmly pressed on each side of the cockpit for balance. Then I get a jib sheet in each hand and unlock the working end, but maintaining tension. This allows you to pull the sail in more as you head up into the tack. Your eyes should be forward and focused on the jib. What you are looking for is the point when the sail has wind in what will be the new windward side. Once you see that, transfer the sail over to the new working jib sheet. It's a small sail. It's not a dramatic action. The sheets are only traveling a few inches. Once that sail has transferred over, let go of the lazy end. You don't need it. And yes, there are variations, but on the Andrews 21, it's pretty simple. Just practice gauging the speed of the boat, watching the sail, and transitioning the sail over. Remember I said your tack depends on how well your skipper steers the boat? Well, let's take a look at another good tack. Watch the sail and the speed of the bow through the wind. Now here's a tack that's too slow. Watch the jib and watch how it luffs. So how can we fix this and get the bow through the wind? Backwinding. Take a look. As the bow stalls, the jib sheet person sees what's happening. By pulling on the working end, they pull the clew back towards the wind. This allows the wind to catch the sail and push the bow over to finish the tack. Once we are close hauled, the jib is transferred over to its new working sheet. So there may come a time when you find yourself stuck in irons. So how do you fix that? Remember I showed you backwinding? Do that. Once you backwind the jib, let the wind kind of push on it and fill it, and it's going to take the bow and it's going to fall off. Now all you have to do is transfer it back over and sail on. Now as a new student, there's something else that can happen. We don't want it to happen, but it does. You've heard of accidental jibes, but believe it or not, you can accidentally tack. Now it's not that big a deal, but the one thing you want to make sure you do is tell your crew. Just say, oops, we're tacking, get to the windward side. Once that crew has gotten over there, you're good. Just finish your accidental tack. Don't worry about the head sail. Once you get the tiller under control, Now all you got to do is switch the head sail over. Not that big a deal, but get your crew prepared. So there you have it. That's tacking. It's really not that complicated. Maybe it is for newer sailors, but you're going to get to practice it an awful lot on the water. So I hope you found it helpful, and for our next video, we're going to go over jibing. So until then,